Stacey. I'm the International Recruitment Officer based in North Sydney campus, and we also have my colleague Desmond from Melbourne. And yeah, so Desmond is looking after Victoria and also other key markets. So I will share the PPT slides first, and then Desmond will talk in the first few slides, and I'll follow on by that. Desmond, do you want anything add on anything?
Yeah, no, look, just want to say thank you to Yes Education for organizing, this webinar for everyone. Nice to meet you all. So yes, I'm Desmond. Thank you for coming along, and I'm looking forward to sharing, information and updates about ACU with you all. Thanks, Stacey.
Thanks, Desmond. So now, everybody, I'm going to share my screen. Let's start the presentation. Slideshow from beginning. You first, Des. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, Stacey. Okay, so welcome everyone. And so the portion of the presentation I will talk about, it's covering more about ACU, our history, our selling points, our strengths, what we're known for. So yeah, so looking forward to going through all this information with you and sharing it with you all. Any questions, so please feel free to put it in the chat, and more than happy to answer it at the Q&A session. So yep, thanks, Stacey. So I guess before we start, we'll just kind of wind things back a little bit in terms of the origins of ACU and how ACU started. So there is a reason why we're called the Australian Catholic University, and the reason is that we were started originally by the Catholic Church here in Australia. So an interesting fact is that ACU, we are one of the earliest education providers here in Australia. So the genesis of ACU actually does go all the way back to the mid-1800s. So dating back to 1857, the Catholic Church here in Australia decided to establish a series of training colleges, particularly training colleges for nurses and training colleges for teachers. Now, because the Catholic Church have their own network of schools and hospitals, the purpose of these training colleges were to train, obviously, teachers and nurses who would come out and then go and work at the Catholic schools and the Catholic hospitals. And that's also a primary driver as to why we're so well known, particularly for our nursing and for our teaching programs, because it is something that we have been doing for well over 150 years. So we officially became a university in 1991. So basically these series of colleges located in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Ballarat and Canberra, they merged, and then we officially became a university. So one of the 40 public universities here in Australia. So we reached a few key milestones in the last couple of years. So obviously in 2015, we celebrated 25 years officially as a university. And then back in 2020, we celebrated 30 years. And during that period of time, we have been one of the fastest growing universities here in Australia. Next slide, please, Stacey. Thank you. Okay, so as I said before, ACU, we have campuses everywhere across Australia. So we have a total of 7 campuses throughout Australia. So mainly throughout the eastern seaboard of Australia. So you can see here in terms of the map. So we have a campus in Brisbane up in Queensland. At the moment, we've got 3 campuses in New South Wales. So one in North Sydney, one in Blacktown, and one in Strathfield. We also have a campus in Canberra, in ACT, and in Victoria, which is actually where I'm located. So I'm based in Melbourne. So we have a campus in Melbourne, and we have a campus in Ballarat as well. And overseas, we also have our very own ACU campus based in Rome, in Italy as well. So with the Rome campus, it is something that is quite unique and quite different for ACU. Our students, they don't study a full degree program over there in Rome, but having a base and a campus there basically allows our students to have a global learning experience. Our students have the opportunity to undertake certain units, particularly from our core curriculum, in an intensive mode during their summer break or winter break, and they get to spend a couple of weeks there in Rome doing the unit rather than doing it here in Australia, and to kind of immerse themselves in a different learning environment. So to give them that global experience. And these opportunities are open to international students as well. So something quite unique to ACU. Another thing that I would say about our campuses are that these are all proper university campuses, and it's something that we are very proud of. By being a proper university campus, what I mean is that it's not a study center. So our campuses, it's not a few levels of a building in the CBD, but rather proper campuses with lots of space for students, facilities for students, and the full support services for our students as well. So in the images there, you can see on the slide, just a few images from each of our different campuses. So that's something that we are very proud of, is that each of our campuses have their own identity, different features, and their own character. And it's a proper university campus as well. So next slide, please, Stacey. So just to give you all a bit of a glance in terms of ACU, in terms of our numbers. So in total, we have approximately about 33,000 students across all the campuses. So if you look at the breakdown in terms of the different states and the territories, Victoria, I guess, has the largest cohort of our students, which is then followed by New South Wales, and then Queensland, and then ACT. In terms of our student profile, majority of our students are undergraduate students. About 26,000 of our students are undergraduate students. Postgraduate makes up about 6,000 students there. And then another important thing to note is if you look at our breakdown between domestic and international students, so we have about 28,000 domestic students, but in terms of international students, we only have about over 4,000. So if you kind of work out the percentage, that means we only have roughly about 13% international students. And I think this is actually a useful selling tool to inform the students that you talk to, is the fact that at ACU, when you come and join the university, the vast majority of our students are other local domestic students rather than international students. So that would give them that study experience, that they want, that they should be paying for when they're coming here to study as international students. They get to interact with other local students, and that means it also gives them that chance to further enhance, improve, and to practice their English proficiency and their communication skills. So that is actually very, very important as well. If you look at our top 6 nationalities or countries, our source markets, so we have a very diverse range of international students coming from Nepal, China, India, Vietnam, USA, and Philippines. So a very diverse mix of international students. So that's something that we are very, very proud of as well. Next slide, please, Stacey. So here's just a quick overview of our rankings, both, I guess, locally within Australia and also within the world. So we are ranked in the top 2% of universities in the world. We are one of the top 10 Catholic universities in the world, ranked number 39 when looking at the Young University rankings. In terms of our top subject rankings, so for nursing, we're ranked at number 14 in the world, and education, we're in the top 50. For graduate employment outcomes, we're number 7 in Australia. Graduate employer satisfaction, we are number 7 as well. And we've been ranked 5 stars for full-time postgraduate employment. Next slide, please, Stacey. So basically, these are just a summary of why students should consider and why they should choose ACU. So as you could see from our previous slides, we are highly ranked. So our rankings are very strong. Our fees are very affordable, and that's something we'll highlight a little bit further on. We're a perfect fit. So, even though we've got 33,000 students across all the campuses, which sounds like a big university with a big amount of students, but because we're multi-campus, it breaks down that size into each individual campus. So the benefit of that is, we can offer the support, the facilities as one big, national university. But in terms of support for the students locally, they're very well supported, because each campus, even for example, if I look at Melbourne here, we have just over 10,000 students, but they get great support from us. And, we know the students, we interact with the students. So if they need any help, any assistance, there's always someone there to help them out. We offer work-ready skills. So our courses are all very practical. They would have some kind of internships or placements or practical experience components. Global networks. So to highlight that, for example, we've got our Rome campus, a nurturing experience. I was just talking about that, and just, a space for the students to make it their own. Next slide, please, Stacey. So yeah, so just reflecting on those things. So high rankings, top 2% in the world, and number 39 with the Young University rankings. Affordable education, which I think is very important, and very, very important for students and their families. We are able to offer that value for money. Next slide, please, Stacey. Work-ready skills. So again, I mentioned that. And I think, what ties to that is also, if you look at our graduate employment outcomes, we're ranked number 7 out of the 40-something universities here in Australia. That means when students come and study at ACU, they'd have that chance to, be prepared, to be trained, to be educated during their degree program. And then by the time they graduate, they are ready to join the workforce. They're basically work ready, they're confident, they know what they're doing. So that is a key, I think, selling point as well, which is very, very important for all students and all graduates nowadays. Global network. So, apart from our Rome campus, we've got links with more than 200 partner universities around the world. So if students, even international students, want to have some kind of international study experience outside of Australia, there are opportunities for them as well. Next slide, please, Stacey. Nurturing experience. So again, that's something we've touched on. And I think, students, when it comes to ACU, is definitely something that they will experience. For a lot of our campuses, we have open door policy. So students can just drop by, have a chat, or if they need any help, they let us know, and then we will point them in the right direction. So, each of our campuses has very much a community feel about it, so that our students, they feel supported, they feel nurtured, and they enjoy their time whilst they're on campus. We do have accommodations available if students do want that or need that. And then feel free to ask questions if you have about accommodation options. Next slide, please, Stacey. Study anywhere and everywhere. So one of the advantages of being a multi-campus university is that students can actually transfer between campuses if they need to, if that need does arise. So with the campus transfers, it is conditional on a few things. Obviously, number one, the program that they are studying is offered across the different campuses. That's number one. Number two, obviously, it does need to be approved by their faculty or their course coordinator if they do want to transfer between campuses. Number three, obviously, to allow the transfer, if the student puts in a request, is dependent on obviously the student's current academic performance. So they must demonstrate that they have at least sound academic performance. They've passed everything, they're doing well academically. And also, most important is as long as there's vacancy in the campus that they want to transfer to. So it can be a bit challenging depending on the course they're studying, for example, with nursing, particularly nursing in certain campuses like North Sydney, Melbourne, places are normally quite full. So it might be a bit hard if a student wants to transfer, say, into one of these campuses from somewhere else. But if it's other courses, maybe like, say, business, which you offer in Brisbane, North Sydney and Melbourne, normally for business, they do have that freedom. If they do want to transfer, there normally isn't too much issues. Also live after ACU. So we do have a very large alumni network. So on the slide it says 100,000, but I think at this point, we have more than 130,000 ACU graduates who are already working and living around the world. So they do have, that that they can be part of that network as well after they graduate from ACU. Next slide, please, Stacey. Okay, so at ACU, we do have our very own Center for Languages, so our very own language center. So with the language center, it's located in 3 campuses, Brisbane, Melbourne, and North Sydney. So we own these centers ourselves. It is not outsourced, so that's one benefit. The second benefit is that we tend to keep our class sizes fairly small because we're not a big language center. So in terms of support level, we make sure that our students develop well and that they progress, into the degree program that they're meant to be studying afterwards. We keep our classes fairly small as well, and a lot of our classes, we don't even reach the maximum capacity of 18 students in a class. So these are the advantages of our language centers. And we also offer a wide range of English programs as well, from general English to academic English to IELTS preparation as well. So keep that in mind, because if your students do need to study English beforehand, definitely put ACU into consideration. And next slide, please, Stacey. And so we have some scholarships available at the moment for our ELICOS programs. So currently at the moment, so depending on the nationality as well. So at the moment, if the students are from LATAM, there is a 30% discount at the moment. So usually the fees are $380 a week. That's for this year. And then you take away 30% discount from that. So this will go up until the 30th of June, but just keep in mind for this year's fees, it's $380 per week. But in 2024, the fees will be $400 per week. For any other nationalities, at the moment, there is a 20% discount. So if we look at the 2024 fees, which is 400 a week. You'll bring it down to 320 per week. So these nationalities are particularly for Taiwan, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, and Korea. So these are our ELICOS scholarships at the moment, and these are automatic as well. So as long as students from these nationalities apply, they automatically get the scholarships applied. Next slide, please, Stacey. And a few of our other scholarships that we have right now, we do have our Global Excellence Scholarship. So this is specifically for our business and IT courses. So our postgraduate and undergraduate business and IT courses if students commence in 2023. So it's an automatic $5,000 per year scholarship, and it runs for the duration of their program. So for example, if a student is going to study a Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting with us at ACU for 3 years, they will receive $5,000 each year. And by the end of the 3 years, they'll have received a total of $15,000 scholarship. So it's a really good value. Of course, if they come and do like a 2 years master's, like 2 years MBA, then they receive $5,000 a year and $10,000 by the end of the 2 years. So really good value. But at the moment, for this one, they have to commence by 2023. So there's still the July intake coming up. So please help to spread the word amongst your students. Next bit. Now, the main one that we have for international students, so this is for all the programs, as long as students studying a undergraduate or postgraduate program, is our International Student Scholarship. So this one is slightly different. It's bigger in value, but it's also merit-based. So the value is worth 50%. So if a student gets selected, they will receive 50% scholarship from ACU every semester and for the duration of their program as well. But as I said, it is merit-based, so there are certain requirements that the students must fulfill, and then they need to go and actually apply for the scholarship as well. And there is a limit of 20 places per year for all international students, so it can be a bit competitive as well. So in order to be eligible to apply for this scholarship, what the student has to demonstrate is their GPA. So based on their most recent study, or if they're still currently studying, then the most current GPA, they must have at least 80% GPA. So if they're applying for a undergraduate program, so say a bachelor degree program, that 80% GPA that they have must have been achieved within 2 years of commencing their studies at ACU. So if it's been achieved more than 2 years ago before they start at ACU, unfortunately it can't be counted. If they're applying for a postgraduate program, they've got that 80% GPA, as long as they've achieved that within 4 years of starting ACU, then they can be considered for the scholarship. So if they meet those requirements, what they need to do, the next step is they need to go and apply to ACU. So help them with the application, get the offer letter. Even if it's just a conditional offer letter, that's fine, as long as they have an offer letter. And then depending on the intake they start, they need to apply for the scholarship at a specific time. So if they are starting in, say, February next year, then they have to apply for the scholarship in September this year. Okay, if they're going to start in the July intake, then normally they need to apply for this scholarship in April. So those are the dates to keep in mind. Next bit, please, Stacey. We also have accommodations scholarship at the moment. So this would apply to our own ACU accommodation. So basically, we will grant the students a 20% reduction in their accommodation fees. So, if they go on a 2-semester or 12-month rental period. So at the moment, this is open for students who will be commencing in this upcoming July intake. If they're planning to take up accommodation with ACU, this is something that they can apply for. Yep. Next slide, please, Stacey. Okay, so in terms of our study areas, just to give you a broad idea of the areas that we focus on. So these are the specializations we offer. So we offer programs in allied health, business, of course, creative arts, global studies and international development, humanities and social sciences, IT, law and criminology, nursing, nutrition, biomedical science, philosophy, professional education, psychology, public health and administration, sports and exercise science, teaching, theology, youth work, and community development. So these are the choices or specializations that we have here at ACU across our campuses. Next slide, please, Stacey. And these are just to highlight some of the popular courses that we have at ACU for our international students, so something for you to look out for as well. I'm sure many of your students would have, inquired for these sorts of courses. So worthwhile to mention a few here. So of course, for nursing. Now, just in terms of nursing, just to note, we do have two different kinds of nursing programs. You can see, so we have the Bachelor's of Nursing, which is the full 3 years nursing program. So that's basically for students who do not have any nursing background at all. Otherwise, we do have a Bachelor's of Nursing enrolled nurses as well. So this one is more for students if they would have completed a diploma of nursing, enrolled nursing from somewhere else, maybe from TAFE or a private institution, and then they want to come and study the bachelor degree with us afterwards. So the Bachelor of Nursing enrolled nursing is a 2-year program, because we recognize that the students have already finished a diploma of nursing here in Australia, and then they end up getting 1-year credit. So they just study 2 years with us in that program. So just keep that in mind. So if any of your students who are doing the diploma of nursing first, then they should be applying for the Bachelor of Nursing, enrolled nursing, when they come to study ACU, not the 3 years Bachelor's of Nursing. Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science, that's certainly a program that's becoming more popular nowadays. We have a Bachelor of Nutrition Science, Bachelor of Applied Public Health. Social Work program, we do have that as well, Bachelor of Social Work. Our Early Childhood Education, birth to 5, that's very, very popular. Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood and Primary. So the difference between the two there is obviously the first one, students will become an early childhood educator, so working with kids from birth up to 5 years old. But if they want something more, they can go for the early childhood and primary, and that will allow them to become both a early childhood teacher and also a primary teacher as well. So they can work with children all the way from birth up until primary school age. Bachelor of Commerce, as always, Business Administration, Bachelors of IT, Visual Arts and Design. For our postgraduate programs, Master of Teaching Secondary, again, that's a very popular one. Our Master of Teaching Early Childhood and Primary, Master of IT, Master of Social Work, MBA, Master of Psychology, Rehabilitation, Leadership Management, Healthcare, Public Health, that's a big one nowadays, and Master of Health Administration. Yep, next slide, please, Stacey. And I'll hand it over to you, Stacey. Thank you.
Gentlemen. That's a really good highlight of ACU about rankings, scholarships, language centers. And now I'm going to talk about pathway programs and also just highlight a few of ACU key courses. For pathway program, we offer foundation studies. Foundation study could be packaged with all ACU degrees, including nursing, social work, physiotherapy, psychology, and many more. All ACU bachelor degrees could be packaged. And for foundation study, the entry requirement is of course equivalent to Australian Year 11, and different program got different English language requirements. For example, nursing students have to achieve 6.0 in each band. However, for majority of other courses, it's 5.5 equivalent. And we also have EAP program, and EAP can be packaged with most of our degrees as well, except nursing and few other courses. For nursing, student can study EAP. However, after EAP, they will still have to sit an IELTS or PTE or other recognized tests for enrollment. And we still continue to offer tertiary preparation for health sciences. TPP is also one of our most popular programs for the pathway. It's leading to Bachelor of Nursing and also Bachelor of Public Health, Nutrition Science, Exercise, and Sports Science, those few health science degrees. An entry to TPP is equivalent to year 12. Student must complete year 12 equivalent. And for English, it's 6.0 in each band or equivalent. And we also offer a suite of diploma programs at ACU, could be packaged with our bachelor degree. And why study diploma? I think you should already know a lot of reasons why study diploma. First one is, of course, fast track into second year. So 1 year diploma and then 2 years bachelor. And also, by doing a diploma, student can develop skills in a chosen discipline. If they study business, they study key business core units. If they study IT, they will study IT relevant units. And of course, diploma, although diploma is equivalent to first year bachelor, but diploma have smaller classes and more focused study, more attention from the lecturers. And actually more international students are studying diploma. So so the lecturer can pay more attention to, international students in a diploma class. And be part of the university community, and all ACU diploma programs are taught on ACU campuses. So it's not like a standalone institution, it's part of ACU program, and students have access to all ACU services and also facilities. They get used to university life before they go into second year of the degree. And even our diploma programs are taught by industry experts. Sorry. And this is actually the list of our diploma programs. We got diploma in business, diploma in biomedical science, exercise science, educational studies, IT, liberal studies, nutrition science, visual arts and design, and also diploma in youth work can all be packaged with relevant bachelor degree. And I'm very proud to say that ACU will continue to offer ACU Guarantee this year. ACU Guarantee, for those that you don't know, it's an early entry program for current year 12 international students. So the application will open on 24th of July and will close on 18th of September. So between 24th of July and 18th of September, Year 12 international students who is very keen to study at ACU can actually apply via ACU Guarantee, the early entry program. And the assessment is mainly based on their year 11 results. And they're able to get an offer letter, a conditional offer, even before they sit their HSC exam. So they the pressure cannot be relieved a little bit for their university. And so after receiving an offer, student will still need to sit the HSC exam. However, ATA is not really a big focus. So there will be conditions on their offer letter. For the ACU Guarantee offer, they just need to meet all the conditions on the offer letter and then they can enroll. Yeah, so just remember the key dates. And we are also going to run a webinar about ACU Guarantee, early offer application process, and also, some of our students will also join the panel discussion as well. And the webinar is going to be held on 18th of July from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Please register, or please encourage your students to register if they are interested in applying ACU Guarantee. And as Desmond has already mentioned, there are differences between Bachelor of Nursing and also the 2-year Bachelor of Nursing enrolled nurses. both programs are leading to nursing registration. Yeah, so the 2-year Bachelor of Nursing enrolled nurses also leading to nursing registration. But just echo what Desmond said. For Bachelor of Nursing enrolled nurses, the 2-year program, we only accept students who complete Diploma of Nursing in Australia, not overseas, but Diploma of Nursing in Australia. And that diploma must be accredited by, by April for enrolled nurse registration. So the condition is that students, before they enroll, they must show us the enrolled nurse registration, also meet, of course, other academic and English language requirements. And for the tuition fee, it's 31,008, very, very reasonable. And also just to emphasize that ACU nursing is ranked very high in the world, number 14 in the world. And also, as you know, ACU nursing is also so popular in Australia. That's also one of the reasons our nursing, our nursing seats are so competitive. Students have to apply early to secure the seat. But apparently, our 2024 nursing, all campuses are still open. But because it's popular, please ask your student to apply as soon as possible. Onshore student, they can, once they receive a conditional offer or a full offer letter, they can pay minimum $3,000 deposit to hold the place. The English language requirement, as you all know, it's 7.0 or PT 65 in each band. And yeah, as I mentioned, student can study EAP, but after EAP, they still need to sit the test and meet this English language requirement. And both courses are accredited by APRA for registered nurse. For the 3-year Bachelor of Nursing, if student complete an overseas nursing qualification, they can apply for credit transfer up to 40 credit points. Professional experience, 800 hours for the 3-year, 800 hours for the 3-year Bachelor of Nursing. And for the 2-year Bachelor of Nursing enrolled nurses, we also guarantee at least 720 hours. For campus, almost all our campuses except the Strasbourg campus offer nursing. So nursing, student can choose study nursing in our North Sydney campus or Canberra, Blacktown, Ballarat, Melbourne, or Brisbane, really multi-campus. And I know there are cases like student enrolled in Brisbane campus and later on want to transfer to North Sydney or Canberra. So that really depending on the availability and also students' academic achievements. So it can't be guaranteed that if they can transfer after they enroll, it depending on a lot of situations and conditions. The other popular program is Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood and Primary. And if you have any questions, just feel free to pop it in the chat. And also we will have some time for Q&A at the end of the session. Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood and Primary, it's fully accredited program by ASO Skill Assessment Body and also by the Teacher Registration Body in all the states where we offer this course. And one of the benefits of studying teaching at ACU is that although they study only in one city, in one campus, but their qualification is actually all, recognized by all other state government where state registration body where the course is offered. For this program, it's offered in Canberra, Brisbane, Melbourne, Strathfield, Blacktown, North Sydney, and also Ballarat. And our nursing, we have very strong reputation. Our education, we have very strong for our education as well, top 50 in the world. And the other key selling point is, of course, the tuition fee. That it's so affordable, only $25,568 per year. And we do have 2 intakes. So the mid-year intake, July 2023, application is still open. And for onshore market, we do accept last-minute applications. So feel free to lodge application for July 2023. But July is for July intake is not available on each like for all the campuses here. For example, Ballarat and Blacktown, they only got February, but you know, Strathfield, Melbourne, and a few other campuses got the July intake. English language requirements, students have to achieve 7 in reading and writing and 7.5 in listening and speaking. And the good advantage of teaching at ACU is that we can package EAP with you know, all the ITE courses, initial teacher registration courses. After completing EAP, students will have direct entry to our teaching degrees as long as they complete all the EAP assessment tasks and also the requirements. And for some situation, if students have recently completed a 2-year study in Australia for a tertiary qualification or diploma, for example, diploma in early childhood, including certificate 3, and then within 2 years to our course commencement, English could be considered to be waived. Academic requirements, students have to have an equivalent to Australian Year 12 qualification in order to apply for this program. And there are changes happening for all the primary related teaching degree. Actually already from this year, but definitely from next year, 2024 enrollment, student will have to be assessed, especially on the maths unit. So all students, if they apply for example, Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood and Primary, or Master of Teaching Early Childhood and Primary, or Bachelor of Education Primary and Secondary, anything related to primary teaching, they will have to have a advanced maths unit in their undergraduate, in their in their high school. And that could not be a generic maths unit. It should be an advanced maths unit or like a statistics, something like that. If students don't have that unit, ACU will require the student to complete a prerequisite unit before the enrollment, and we do provide that prerequisite unit. And duration of the course, it's 4 years. And I think a lot of you already know there is a teacher selected statement requirement as well. So students have to write up to like 1,000 words teacher selected statement alongside with all other application documents for our teacher registration programs. In Victoria, students can also take CASPER test. Professional experience, we guarantee the professional ACU responsible for all the placements of the professional experience, professional internships. So for this particular program, student will have a minimum of 100 days experience as part of the course. Teacher selected statement. So yeah, just remember it's compulsory document. When you lodge application for teaching, without these documents, faculty will not assess. It's 1,000 words requirement and breaking to 2 categories. And student can actually focus on the following areas in their teacher selected statement. For example, interest in teaching, you know, young people, involvement in personal learning and leadership activities, commitment to learning, and also just to use examples to explain why they could be suitable for a teacher, what kind of skills they have, for example, interpersonal skills, communication skills, organizational skills, planning skills, and etc. For some of you, you might have attended our ACU Sydney workshop end of last year, and we've actually talked about that new degree, but maybe most of you don't know about this program. Bachelor of Arts / Master of Teaching Secondary. It's one of the newest teaching program that we launched this year. So from the name of the degree, you know that it's the combination of the bachelor and the master degree together. The duration is 4 years only. Yeah, so student can finish this program in 4 years and will get a master degree. So and also I just want to say that it's not it could be understood as a one course. It's not 2 separate programs. It's a one program, and all units are actually mixed up together. But I'm going to talk about unit offerings a bit later. And And of course, for this program, it offers a pathway to becoming a secondary school teacher with up to 3 teaching specialist areas. And graduates will be eligible for teacher registration as a secondary school teacher in government, independent, Catholic, and other faith-based schools. This course is also offered in multiple campuses in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Strathfield. And the entry requirement is equivalent to Australian Year 12 qualifications. So, which means high school students, after 4 years, they can get a master's degree. How good is that? It's really, really a fast-track program. However, it's also very intensive. Students will also need to meet English language requirements, which is the Master of Teaching Language requirement. It's 7 in listening, 7 in reading and writing, 8 in listening and speaking. It's pretty high. However, we can also package EAP program up to 30 weeks EAP. The minimum requirement is IELTS 6.5 for postgraduate teaching, and minimum requirement for undergraduate teaching is IELTS 6.0 for 30 weeks EAP. And the tuition fee for this program is $28,764. So the benefits of signing this program is, student got an opportunity to complete secondary school teacher accreditation requirements for 2 major teaching areas, or they can also choose to have 1 major up to 2 minor teaching areas, or 1 major, 1 minor, together with accreditation to teach religious education in Catholic schools. So there are a lot of flexibility there for this qualification. And the other benefit is, of course, student can graduate with both an undergraduate and a postgraduate teaching qualification in 4 years. As I mentioned, IELTS requirement, it's 7 in reading and writing, 8 in listening and speaking. And we will also guarantee 80 days of placement in a school. And students do not need to take another IELTS test after they graduate when they apply for teacher registration, because the degree is 4 years itself. It's an accelerated degree in with units studied during winter and summer terms. And these are the majors and minors that student can choose from under this program. So for example, business studies, drama, history, maths, music, media, visual arts, economics, politics and international relations, and yeah, a few others. So this is a sample of the course structure. As I mentioned, it's a very intensive program. So students will have to study a few units even in summer and also in winter. They will have to sacrifice their school holidays if they want to, complete this intensive program in 4 years. Okay, move on to Master of Teaching Early Childhood and Primary. This is also one of our most popular teaching programs. 2 years full-time, and this program is also offered in July. 2020 July, application still open. Annual tuition fee, $25,560, extremely affordable. And IELTS requirement, same as other Master of Teaching program, it's 7 in reading and writing, 8 in listening and speaking. But if student finish a bachelor degree in Australia for the most recent 2 years, we will consider waive English as well for this program. And for this Master of Teaching Early Childhood and Primary, student will develop 1 teaching specialization. So they can choose from the following, for example, English and literacy, mathematics and numeracy, science, humanities and social sciences, the arts, technologies, health and physical education. And of course, this course is recognized by ASO Skill Assessment Body, and also ACCA accreditation program list. It's all recognized. Master of Teaching Secondary. So Master of Teaching Secondary is also one of our most popular IT postgraduate ITE course. It's offered in Melbourne and Strathfield. The tuition fee again is $25,568. Also, this course got mid-year July intake, as well as the February intake. Same English language requirement, 7788. Academic requirement, equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree, and student will also need to choose teaching areas. I'm going to talk about teaching areas in next slide. 2 years in duration. And again, students have to submit a teacher selected statement. For professional experience, it's 60 days of school-based learning experience. And also this course is accredited by the state registration body as a secondary school teacher. And I think one of the key selling points of this program is that we offer really a big list of the teaching areas. Student can choose from accounting, business studies, economics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, English, languages, modern languages, TESOL, society and culture, religious education, psychology, law. So all of those showing on this screen, they are able to choose. And to assess whether they're eligible to a certain teaching area, usually if they want to choose that teaching area as a first teaching area, they need to study at least 1/3 of the unit in that area from their undergraduate degree. So if they want to choose as a minor, as a second teaching area, and then at least 4 to 6 units in that area. So this is a basic assessment criteria. Master of Social Work, that's another of our ACU hot selling courses, fully accredited by ASW, and we offer 1,000 hours placements. IELTS requirement 7 in each band. Again, we can package EAP, and there are certain conditions. We can waive English as well. The course is currently offered in Strathfield and Canberra, 2 locations, and Canberra is a regional campus. So our Canberra campus is getting very popular for our Master of Social Work. We even have a GPA requirement for our Canberra campus. It's 5 out of 7 GPA for entry into our Master of Social Work from their undergraduate degree. However, if they don't meet that 5 out of 7, they can apply to study this program in our Strathfield campus because our Strathfield campus doesn't have GPA requirement. And for the academic requirement, we still require 8 units, very strictly 8 units. And these units could include psychology, sociology, anthropology, policy studies, history, law, health and disability, technology, philosophy, indigenous studies, culture and human diversity, media study, gender studies, social theory, and population studies. And among those 8 units, students must at least study 2 compulsory units, 1 in human behavior and 1 in sociology. Other 6 units could be from the list that I've mentioned, but among those, they have to at least have 2 compulsory units, 1 in human behavior and the other 1 in sociology. In some cases, if student doesn't have 1 or 2 units, they might have the chance to enroll that particular unit from other institution or from Open University. And once completing that unit, they might still be able to enroll, but this needs to be discussed by the faculty, discussed with faculty and agreed by the faculty before student enroll that, that units. MBAs. MBA is also one of our popular courses from our Faculty of Business and Law and Business. And the entry requirement is equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree. And we don't actually require work experience for our MBA program as long as they have completed equivalent to Australian bachelor degree. They can apply for our MBA program. And for students, if their bachelor degree is from a related discipline, they can even apply for credit transfer for up to 40 credit points, which means for 4 units and 6 months. English language requirement for MBA is academic IELTS 6.5 with no individual band less than 6. If student recently complete like a bachelor degree or even a diploma in Australia, for those who complete diploma, they must have a bachelor degree, then their English might be waived. So yeah, assessment would be based on case by case. And MBA is offered in North Sydney and also in Melbourne. The annual tuition fee, 32,320. But yeah, remember that Desmond has mentioned we got a Global Excellence Scholarship, which is $5,000 per year for the whole duration of the study, and the tuition fee will be down to 27,320. And this scholarship will be offered in July 2023 as well. It will be, yeah, so it will be covering all the 2023 intakes. For China market, we also have a special arrangement. If students have a recognized Dazhuan diploma qualification, they can apply for fast track from Dazhuan to master, studying 6 months graduate certificate in business administration, followed by 1.5 year MBA program, and they're able to finish in 2 years. Master of IT, academic requirement, again, equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree in any discipline. It doesn't have to be from IT. And we also don't require any work experience. And English requirements, 6.5 in IELTS with an individual score no less than 6 or equivalent. And under Master of IT, we actually focus on the most cutting edge, technical skills, which really feel meets the job market. So the majors we offer are data science, cybersecurity, application development, and data analytics. This course is fully accredited by the Australian Computing Society, and currently it's offered in North Sydney and Melbourne. The tuition fee, 32,320. Again, they will be eligible for the Global Excellence Scholarship, $5,000 per year, down to 27,320. And this scholarship is automatically given to the student. There's no application process. As long as student receive offer, they enroll, they will be automatically given that $5,000 scholarship. And the scholarship will be covering the whole duration of their study as long as they pass the units in their semester. And again, this program, Master of IT, also allows Chinese students to apply from the Dazhuan diploma fast track to graduate certificate 6 months plus MIT 1.5 year. Yeah, that's just specific to the China market. And so that's the highlight of all the key courses. And now moving on to the deposit arrangement. So for onshore student particularly, we allow minimum $3,000 deposit for a single degree. For example, nursing is popular if students have already received a Bachelor of Nursing offer. For 2024 and 2025, I know most of the students will only receive a conditional offer with English as a condition or with other academic conditions, and receiving an offer doesn't guarantee a place at ACU. They will have to accept the offer and also pay a deposit. Then their place will be guaranteed, will be like a temporary guaranteed. Of course, they still have to meet all the conditions before they enroll. Yeah, so we can issue conditional COE. As long as you receive a conditional offer and there is no GTE condition, they accept the offer and they pay, then conditional COE will be issued to guarantee their placement, their place for the course, for the future intakes. So for onshore students, if student apply for an ALICOS only, then it's the ALICOS price as per offer letter. If the ALICOS plus pathway program plus the principal course, the bachelor or master degree, then ALICOS as per offer letter, pathway program $3,000, principal course $2,000. For example, if student apply for ALICOS plus foundation studies plus Bachelor of Nursing, then ALICOS as advised on the offer letter, pathway program, foundation, $3,000, and nursing degree, $2,000 deposit. If it's pathway and diploma, like a diploma and bachelor degree only, it's $3,000 for the diploma and $2,000 for the bachelor degree. If it's a standalone bachelor or master degree, then it's $3,000 only. For offshore market, a student will need to pay more. So usually one semester fee for a standalone program. If it's pathway plus degree, then one semester pathway plus $2,000 degree. So these are the payment deposit arrangement. This document is actually attached in the offer letter. It's part of the offer letter. You're able to find that information. Admissions, some information about admissions, and I think you've already very familiar with the study link. So continue to apply via study link. You should be able to check the, the status update and also send messages. To accept the offer, you can also accept the offer via study link or send an email to international.finance@acu.edu.au to request for COE. And just to remind that all applications must be submitted with pre-application checklist. It's a compulsory document still. And before I finish the session, just highlight of ACU services. So ACU, as Desmond mentioned, we really care about a student. It's a perfect fit. Well, we always say you are a name, you are not a number. So we do provide a lot of services to available to our international students. So international student advisors is based on almost most of our campuses. So they are usually the first point of contact if students have any issues about academic, about any personal well-being issues. They can contact our international student advisor. We also have a stand-alone academic skills unit where students have academic difficulties. They can seek services and advice from the academic skills unit. And we also have career advisory service. We also offer ACU on campus, ACU jobs on campus. Students can apply for, a job on campus at ACU as well. Ask ACU Center and Office of Student Success. We also got a student Connect to Uni program, helping our new student to step in to settle down the university, and campus ministry, student legal services. Most of the services are actually free to students. So please encourage your student to utilize those services while they enrolled at ACU. Social media, feel free to go get more information about ACU through our social media channels, Weibo, WeChat, Facebook, Instagram, and many more. And also feel free to contact us, your regional managers, if you have any questions. That's the end of the presentation. So feel free to pop on your questions. Desmond and I will be happy to answer.
Thank you, Desmond and Stacey, for this informative session. I would like to request all the participants, if you have any queries, please feel free to write in Q&A box. I could already see a few questions in Q&A box, so we'll be addressing that. Also, if some of our participants, if they would like to speak, please raise your hand so that I can allow you to talk. There is one question from our attendee. It's about the intake for nursing. So Stacey, could you please answer that questions? How many intakes you have ACU offers for nursing course?
That's a good question. At the moment, we only have one intake in February. However, if we're planning to open an intake in July, I will definitely, so the AC will definitely let all our agent partner knows about it. And we are really looking forward to mid-year intake as well, but only at the moment, we only offer February intake.
Mm-hmm. And thank you very much for answering that questions. There is another question. A student have a diploma and postgraduate certificate, but not undergraduate degree. Can the student apply for a Masters of Teaching, Early Childhood and Primary?
Oh, this question actually seems very familiar to me. Someone has already asked the other day. If they have a diploma, like a fast track to a master degree and no undergraduate degree, I've actually asked admissions and there's no straight answer. It has to be assessed by case. Admission won't give a direct answer. It will need to go to the faculty. So I would encourage the counselor to lodge the application via study link so we can have a formal assessment. It's like there's no yes answer straight away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stacey, for answering this question. So I'd like to request our participant, if you have such cases, please send application to us and our admission team will be happy to forward your application to ACU admission so that we can have assessment on that.
Yeah, and for, as I mentioned earlier, for Master of IT and MBA for China market, we do recognize Dajuan diploma straight into graduate certificate and and a master, but that's only limited to China market and also only for MIT and MBA.
Thank you very much. It seems we already a bit out of the time. Do you think we could have few extra minutes for
Yeah,
Q&A?
I'm happy
Definitely.
with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for the Masters of Teaching and Masters of Social Work, is PT accepted or only the IELTS is accepted?
Desmond, do you want to answer that
Yeah,
question?
I'm happy to answer that one. Yeah, look, we do accept PT for the vast majority of our programs, only bar a few. So definitely Master of Teaching, yes, PTE is accepted, and the same for Masters of Social Work. So yes, PTE definitely is accepted for both.
Thank you, Desmond. There is another question. If a student has completed diploma in Australia, can we waive English proficiency for Bachelor's of Education, birth to 5?
Yes, I've actually mentioned in my presentation slides for teaching program, we do recognize, prior learning for English waiver, but it has to be like a 2-year diploma. And it has to be completed within 2 years. If students study as 2 separate diplomas, and these 2 diplomas must be in the same discipline.
Okay. There is one question from Kasif. Thank you, Kasif, for your questions. Do we have Masters of Social Work in Melbourne campus?
I can take that one. We don't, unfortunately. Look, I've been pushing for it. Hopefully we will have it one day, but at the moment, Master of Social Work is only available in Canberra and our Strathfield campus.
Okay. Thank you, Desmond. I have one question for myself. So there is a ACU guarantee entry program. So does it applies to all the nationalities and all the courses that ACU offers?
Yeah, definitely to all nationalities. I think not to all courses. Every year changes. So I will encourage you to refer ACU Guarantee website for the details.
Thank you, Ceci.
Just to add, Niranjan, with that question, with the ACU guarantee, so here in Victoria, it's a little bit different. So I know definitely here in Victoria, so if you've got these high school kids currently studying high school here in Australia, they want to apply for the ACU guarantee. Any courses that has primary education or secondary education, unfortunately, they cannot apply for those through ACU guarantee. The birth to 5 program is fine. The reason for that is because here in Victoria, there is a minimum ATAR requirement of 70 for any students who want to study a bachelor degree that has primary teaching or secondary teaching. So that's the reason why these programs are excluded from ACU guarantee. But yeah, that's just for Victoria. So special case of Victoria.
Thank you, Desmond. So for the Masters of Social Work, so as ACU can package English course for Masters of Social Work, how long is our maximum? How many weeks can a student package for that course?
I think really depending on the market, and also depends on whether students are from onshore and offshore. For onshore, as I know, they can definitely package at least 30 weeks, like 30 weeks. Yeah, but offshore, there are some limitation, as I know. Desmond, if you want to add a bit more comments.
Yeah, with offshore, look, it really depends coming from which country. Of course, generally say if it's a riskier country or region, we wouldn't recommend packaging with a longer duration of EAP program, or we have a particular limit. But yeah, look, really depends coming from which region or country from offshore. And then, anyway, if you have questions, approach Yes Education, and then we can look at a case by case.
Thank you, Desmond. There is another question. Is every campus have accommodation facilities for students?
Yep, I can take that one. Yeah, so look, we do have some sort of accommodation arrangements, of course. So we have our very own student accommodation in Sydney. Right, so that covers our 3 campuses in Sydney. In Brisbane and in Melbourne, we don't have our own student accommodation, but we work closely with Igloo, and also with here in Melbourne, I know with Uni Lodge as well. So our students actually get special rates if they choose to stay at Igloo or Uni Lodge. In Canberra and in Ballarat, we do have our own, we call, I guess, managed student residences. So that those are the types of accommodation options available for our students across all the different campuses.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Desmond.
and just to add on that, Canberra campus, the accommodation is brand new. We've just refurbished in early this year. And currently there are 20% accommodation scholarship opening for this July intake. It's already open on the website.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. For the 50% international student scholarship, which is really good information, which is very informative information that we received today. Is there any country-wise quota or first-time account basis? Like it's a first time. So is on the basis of the application that a student will receive, or so is there any basis for that? Any requirement other than CGPA requirement?
Yeah, it's not first come first.
Okay.
It's the application opens in a certain time in April and also in September, and it will usually close within 2 months time, or even sometimes one month. And we assess I think primarily based on academic requirements, academic score, and there is a cap of 20 students a year. So really students who receive a higher score will have a better opportunity to receive the scholarship.
Thank you, Stacey.
And it covers all disciplines, all undergraduate and postgraduate degrees.
There is one question from James. Thank you for the question, James. Yes, we do campus tours often, and once we organize that, we'll let you know for the campus tour. Yes, definitely, we organize campus tour with our partners very often.
And James is one of a partner, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Where is James located?
James, can you please answer the questions in chat box? Where are you located? Are you in Sydney or Melbourne or any other cities? He's located in Sydney.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
easy.
definitely. Yeah, we will invite you in the future. Okay. I think we cover almost all the questions. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar session today. So we will be sharing you the webinar PPT, and also we will share you the link for the recording of this webinar so that you can have access in the future. And if you have any questions related to applications or any queries, feel free to contact us or any of your regional marketing manager of ACE Education. We'll be happy to support you. Thank you, Stacey and Desmond. Thank you very much for your time today. And I would also like to thank everyone. Oh, there is one more question. Do we do a lot of Melbourne enrollments? Yes, we do enrollment in Melbourne campus. Would you like to answer, Desmond or Stacey, on that?
Desmond for Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's just a comment from James. I think he's saying, yeah, we do a lot of Melbourne enrollments too. So great to hear. Thanks for supporting Melbourne. So
yeah, great to hear that.
And just to emphasize that our July intake is still open for applications. We take very last minute for onshore. So please feel free to lodge as many applications as you can for July.
Yeah, thank you, James. Thank you for your message. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for attending this webinar session today. And please be in touch with us if you have any queries in the future. And thank you, Stacey and Desmond, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Niranjan.
Thanks, Niranjan. Thank you, everyone, for coming along to the session. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.